of power, women who seek to help your people. I, too, Buffalo Calf Road woman, was a woman of power, a woman who tried to help my people. I was born in what my people, Northern Cheyenne, call Big Sky. Your people call Montana. I am 34 moons and years old. My people, the Northern Cheyenne, have lived forever in Big Sky. I had 2 brothers, one older named Eagle Flies High, and one younger after me he came, named Chief Comes in Sight. We were happy all those years. It was like a pool of water without ripples. But the Indian agent told us change would come that we could not prevent. Our people, the Northern Cheyenne, have a creation story. In this creation story, our main spirit god that we pray to was named Me'eho. Me'eho. Me'eho created everything, and there were 4 other spirits in his world: earth, fire, wind, and water. Me'eho created first man, Northern Cheyenne, in Big Sky. But first man was lonely and had no one to cook for him nor clean for him. And so Me'eho created first woman to do first man's bidding. And it was good in Big Sky. Me'eho scooped up mud one day in the spirit world and rounded it to a big ball and placed it on the shell of Grandmother Turtle Woman. And as she slowly walked, the earth turned. And that is what we Northern Cheyenne believe. Our tribe friends were the Lakota Sioux and the Oglala Sioux, but our enemies were the Crow and the Shoshone. It was our way of life for the warriors to raid one another for ponies and for slaves. On one of these raids, my older brother, Eagle Flies High, was killed, and my father and mother cried many tears, and my mother chopped off one of her fingers so that she could feel the pain, physically, as you people would say. So then there were 2 of us, me and Chief Comes in Sight, my younger brother, who was said to be a future chief of the tribe. I lived with my younger brother, but I did not like the ways of the women, cooking and cleaning. I wanted to ride with the men. I wanted to have weapons like the men. Sometimes my younger brother, Chief Comes in Sight, would let me go with them to shoot their arrows or to throw clubs as weapons. I was given my older brother's pony when he died. Eagle Flies High had a good, fast pony and a hard club made out of the skull of a buffalo, pure bone. But clubs were only good for that one throw, because in battle you could not go and get it back. The Indian agent came and talked to the chief of all our friendly tribes, Lakota Sioux, Oglala Sioux, and Northern Cheyenne, and told us there was a big war back in the east of this country. Bluecoats and gray coats were killing one another. But Indian agent said if that war ever ended, a flood of people would come to Big Sky and take our homes and land and kill us and kill the buffalo. The buffalo was my sacred animal because before I was born, I was named Buffalo Calf Road Woman. And the road of the buffalo calves is hard. If their mother goes down for any reason by wolves or coyotes, they will starve or be taken and killed as well. I always tried to protect the little buffalo calves. The Indian agent was right. Soon more and more White Eyes came and killed with their long rifles entire herds. One night when the moon was full, a herd had been taken, and only the little calves were standing over their mothers, crying and bawling, "Mama, Mama, get up and feed me, for I'm hungry." We all cried as well, but the men could not stand it. So they came and got me, for that was my sacred animal, and I went with them down to the valley where the slaughtered animals lay, stripped of their fur and hide. And we killed the little calves we could not round up to try and save, to silence their pitiful cries. This was the change that was coming to Big Sky. The year was 1876, June. We heard from the Indian agent of a general out west, General Crook. Our tribe called him Crooked Man. He was coming to round us up, to take the women and children, and then the men would return and be sent to a place the Indian agent called a reservation. The chief called everyone together and asked the warriors, the braves, the men and women, "Do you want to fight for your home? Or do you want to go to this place called reservation?" They all saw and said, "We want to fight for our home. We have not gone to their home to take what is theirs. Why are they coming to Big Sky to take what is ours and has been ours for many moons and centuries?" And so we fought. Our friends, the Lakota and the Oglala, fought with us. And on June 18th, there was a big battle with General Crooked Man. But the Oglala and the Lakota and the Northern Cheyenne won in that battle. And I had a part in that battle. I could ride my brother's pony. It was a good pony well, and I had my club. The women always stood on the edges of the battle. And on June 18th, they were standing there as well. They did not want to go forward, but if they saw their men fall, their husband, their father, their brother, their loved ones, they could run in and try to grab them and pull them to safety. I only had the one brother now. Chief comes in sight, and the dirt and the dust that was kicked up by the horses' hooves and by the feet of the warriors was great. It was hard to see. I sat on my brother's pony. My father was standing there with me, and my mother, and we all saw Chief comes in sight fall to the ground. And so I rode my pony in quickly, and I was a big, strong woman. I reached down in the battle, and Chief comes in sight, grabbed my arm and was behind me. And I rode back to the women at the edge, and he got down. But our warriors were retreating and running away from the fight. Chief comes in sight, said, "You You are the women, for my sister is braver than you. I will return to fight Crooked Man. Come with me, or we will lose Big Sky forever." And they ran back into the battle. I wanted to go as well, but my father grabbed the reins and bridle of the horse, and he said to me, "Naishtate, ao." You have done enough for today. It was powerful bad medicine for women to run and fight into battle with men. But I wanted to turn my pony's head and go and help the men. I knew that I was brave enough. I was not afraid. But then my father changed his voice from gentle and said, "Naishtate, ao, naishtate, ao." And he would not let me go back. You have done enough for today. That night, after the Battle of Rose Blossom. Rose Blossom. What a beautiful name for a horrible fight. We had lost many, but the White Eyes under Crooked Man had lost more. There was much feasting and dancing that night. I had never had a warrior come and stand before me in the circle of uniting hands, binding hands and hearts. I was 34 and I thought I would have to live with my younger brother's family forever. But that night, in the circle of the joining of the hands, the binding of the hands, Black Coyote came and stood before me, and our hands were bound with leather strips. I would have a man. Black Coyote and I were happy for 1 week. But like the Indian agent said, the flood was coming for us. You cannot stop change, women of power. You must learn how you will work against or for it. In 1 week, over 3,000 Indians gathered in Big Sky, Lakota, Oglala, Sioux, many teepees. A big battle was coming in 1 week, June 25th and 26th, the preparations, 1876. We called it the Battle of the Greasy Grass, for the grass near the river and the big rocks became black during the battle. It had been tall, but it was beaten down and became slippery and black. So it was called by Northern Cheyenne Battle of the Greasy Grass. For you White Eyes, it was called Battle of the Little Bighorn. We had heard of a White Eyes with long yellow curls and hair and a fringed jacket. Custer. He came with the 7th Cavalry, but they did not know there were 3,000 and more coming of Lakota, Oglala, and Northern Cheyenne. He had 897. I know, for they all fell. On the morning of the battle, I was on my brother's pony. Eagle Flies High. Such a good, fast pony. And this time I had my weapon. I would be able to throw it one time, made of solid bone from that buffalo's head and skull. Black Coyote and I on our ponies looked at one another, and he told me with a nod that I could come into the battle, and I rode in, and I rode far up to the big rocks, closer and closer until I looked right in the eyes of Yellow Hair, that General Custer. My husband said he had colonel's bars, but we had heard he was a general, and I threw my weapon, my club. I threw it for all I was worth, for I knew I only had one throw, and it hit that Yellow Hair, and he fell and was surrounded by our warriors. Black Coyote looked at me and he said, "Naishtate." Oh, he wanted me to be safe. And I turned my pony's head and rode back to the edge of the battle. We won. All those bluecoats were killed. 897. The medicine man took a buffalo hide and marked each one. Some tried to escape to the river, but none made it. The 7th Cavalry, Northern Cheyenne, Oglala Sioux, Lakota Sioux, had taken. But our enemies, the Crow and the Shoshone, were even now helping more bluecoats. The flood would not stop. The flood would soon claim us all. And that is the story of my life before we were moved off to a reservation to die in Big Sky.